Hey YouTube! So, yeah, had some technical issues with the video for this, but I bought myself a Stratocaster. A Fender Stratocaster. I just picked this up the day before yesterday. It's also, I've dug my shorts out, so shorts! It's summer! Yeah, so this has been painted by a previous owner. It was a ridiculously cheap price. Well, not ridiculously, but it was a good buy, and it was just put off. When you see things like this, the description wasn't 100% accurate either. It's worth. I went to look at it as opposed to, oh, I'll buy that. I didn't jump on it, and it's not like a. It was up for a couple of days. I saw it and talking about it, with my pals, and then it was like talking about it to my other pal Ron. He's like, "So when are you going to get it?" And it was like, "Well, I don't know. Should I message him?" Okay, I'll message him. The guy seemed really nice. But yeah, it's like, I don't have an amp though, so if you bring an amp over to test it out, I want to make sure you like it before you buy it. And it's like, this guy seems nice, I'll go anyway. So what we have is custom painted body. It was actually described as a custom shop, and it had three photos which weren't particularly good photos. You couldn't really see what was going on. There was a few stickers on it and stuff. So it started off as a Fender Japan Stratocaster 84 to 87. Actually, there was a sticker on the back of it, and it was like one of the things. Was, you can bring a screwdriver. Do you know how to take guitars to bits? Because you couldn't remember what kind of pickup was in it. Do you want to take it to bits? And I was like, I wouldn't mind peeling that sticker off the back. There was a sticker there. But to be honest, by looking at the headstock design, I was like, it says it's Japanese. It looks like mine. Looks like that one there. Mine's a 95, so it's a bit earlier. But I suppose all Fenders kind of look similar. It's just got that. So it's got the Clussen tuners on it. Like this. Yes, one piece maple neck, 7¼ inch radius. I think, well, I'm pretty sure that the fretboard at some point has been sanded. So I cleaned it up as best I could. I'm not really sure how to clean it up. I used sort of computer cleaner, sort of soapy water type stuff, just to get the dirt off. But it's a bit satiny, whereas the back of the neck's lovely gloss. So I think I might try lacquering it myself. This one has medium frets as opposed to skinny frets on that one. Yep. So these two pickups are the original ones, so 80s Japan. The scratch plate, the electrics, I'm not sure. They appear to be, they're big pots. I've seen Japanese Strats, that might be the square ones or something. Got the fridge magnet pickups in small pots. This one doesn't. This has got like an Oak Grigsby type switch, big pots, and no magnets on the back of the pickups, which implies that makes them Alnico something, because it's got like magnetic pole pieces rather than like steel pole pieces with a magnet stuck in the bottom. The bridge pickup, it was described as a humbucker. A replacement humbucker, and I was like, as I said on the message, it's not a humbucker, it might be a stacked humbucker though, because it's got 6 pole pieces on it. Humbuckers don't look like that. Is that up here? Yeah, that's right, stacked. So, is that up here? I can't remember. The guy, when he bought this guitar, it already had this pickup in it, and it was I can't remember the name. I had the box for it. He gave me the box for it. I can't remember what it was. It was D something. I think it's Dean. I was like, D something. I was like, well, it works anyway. I was like sitting there going up here, De Dworman, De Wilkinson, and it's like, no, DiMarzio. So it's got a DiMarzio. I looked it up. It's a bridge position stacked humbucker, very similar to the neck position DiMarzio stacked humbucker I had in the bridge of this. Thinking, doesn't matter. All Strat pickups are the same, but it was really weak and I didn't like it, so I bought a Japanese bridge pickup for that one. Yeah, sorry, the cogs are going. So that's now got an original 84 to 87. I think it was 1987. The guy said when I bought the bridge pickup for that, so I could put that pickup in this and have the original set. That's just what I'm thinking. But I was also thinking the other way around. I've got the neck position pickup, which I thought might have been broken, but I think was just, I've maybe wired it up wrong. I'd maybe wired it not. I'd maybe wired it in parallel, because obviously it's got 2 coils, so I've maybe done something not quite right, but it also been a neck pickup. So I do actually have the matching DiMarzio that would go in the neck, like for a noiseless set for this one, but this one's got the original 2. So I don't know. The body is Mexican apparently, and the bridge, I checked it out, it's written on the back, it's got like it's stamped in it, it's been painted as well. So it's stamped in it PW29, so it's like a big steel block. On Reverb it was described as an upgrade, Mexican upgrade, big block trem, something like that, which is fine. It has been painted with some sort of acrylic paint. Well, I think I can actually just... maybe it's not going to come off quite as easily as I thought. I've not worked out how I'm going to get the paint off it. Actually, to be honest, I quite like the look of it. But I mean, it's got someone else's name on it, so you can't have that. And he's been at it. It's like, this is it's like R. I can't remember what his name was. It wasn't Robert, but so he's like, yeah, okay. I mean, if it was an M, maybe, and it's got like this sort of tiger, and then he said, "I'm not an artist." That kind of looks like you are, to be honest. This is apparently a Bruce Lee means peace or courage or something, and a yin yang, and there's a sort of lizardy monster dragon thing here. I do kind of like. He says it was kind of Hendrix inspired. He was into Hendrix. Hasn't played the guitar. He said he hadn't played it for years. So actually, as soon as I plugged it in, it was like just like before I peeled the sticker off to see it was made in Japan. I kind of knew it was. It's a good one. And it sounded great through the wee Black Star amp, which I've now traded with Scott for a Yamaha Pacifica. I did it in a kind of backwards order. This was meant to be my Trade Thursday video. I did a video in the car and stuff, and the camera failed and it was all wobbly, and then I did a video on this and this mic. I must have stood in the cable and pulled it out, and there's all these... Don't want to know about that. Yeah, so it's also got a switch in it, a Gilmore switch, which the guy was like, I don't know what it does. So he wasn't sure. He says it gives you all 3 pickups on. And I was like, right, so put it to the bridge, put it on, and it's like, it's not a Gilmore switch. So I'm thinking, if I put it in position 2, maybe it's a phase switch. No, but it is actually a Gilmore switch. It just goes the other way. So I would normally always have it that I turn on when you hit the Gilmore switch. It hot wires the neck pickup to be permanently on. This goes the other way, so it hot wires the bridge pickup to be permanently on. So if you're in the neck position and you turn on the Gilmore switch, you get the outside 2 coils, and then position 4 gives you all 3. Whereas I would normally do it the other way. I would have it bridge position, turn it on, adds in the neck, position 2 gives you all 3. Doesn't really matter. I'm not sure what I would do with that. I'm assuming I'm going to be able to get this paint off the scratch plate, because although it's pretty cool, I'm going to have to make it my own. Yeah, so make some noise with it. So this is the DiMarzio DP something. Big list of numbers that long. Playing through the wee Carlton. Look at my super white spindly legs. It's disgusting, isn't it? Turn on I'll put some drums on in a minute. Only thing really wrong that I did to the neck was, apart from clean it, take some stickers off it, was there was a high fret kind of round about here. So I think I could probably actually get the action a bit lower than... I wanted to build it up and make it work until I decide what it is I'm going to do with it. It's kind of the same thing as the SG. Position 2. Try and stand in front of this mic, but not in front of the amp. Also, it might mean I'm a wee bit closer in, so you can't see my knobbly knees. Middle position. Tone control working. Yep. Just in 4. I used to always play that whenever I was playing a Strat. Now I can't remember how you play it. Can't remember. Neck pickup. Tone. Not as much tone. I suppose use the Gilmore switch, which I didn't fit, so that's your neck pickup. This is neck and bridge. This will be all 3 on. Oh. I actually don't have. I don't think I've actually got a guitar with a Gilmore switch, even though I've fitted 50, something like that. I do see why people want it. Just I've got that many guitars. If I really wanted a telly sound, I'll play the telly. But that's good. Try 1 frets. Middle pickup. Raise the pickup a little bit. Bridge. My thin. Rat pedal. Middle. 4. Come on. All 3 on. Yeah, so I did a wee bit of a jam there in the middle while I remembered what other things I was going to say about it were. Oh no, I've forgotten all the other things I was going to say about it were. Yeah, it's actually a really nice Strat. Actually, the guy said the original guitar, before he painted the body and then swapped all the stuff over, he's like, the original guitar, that it was white, the Japanese body, I can't remember what I did with it, and it was like, oh, I'd really like that, that'd have been awesome. But in saying that, if it had been a white Strat, it wouldn't have been this cheap, and I wouldn't have bought it. Also, even if it had been this cheap and I had bought it, I wouldn't have painted it. Whereas now, I've kind of got to paint it. And I'm thinking yellow. I think yellow white Strats. I remember seeing a video with Jeff Beck playing a yellow Strat, and I was like, oh, you don't ever see yellow Strats, that's great. I think that might have been why I painted my West Tone Concord yellow, and as soon as I painted it yellow, it was like, wow, yellow, why don't you get yellow guitars? Why aren't they much more popular? My pal Ronnie actually had an Aria Pro 2 it's an RS series, the one that's the same as the same colours, the same sort of, it's a sort of Strat, but it's a little bit more pointy. Say I had a Mega Metal that was the same shape. I think it's RS it's called. Same shape as the Cat. No, that was a Japanese one, and I was very tempted to buy it off him, but the neck had been swapped, so it didn't have the maple neck, it had a rosewood neck. Whoever the previous owner had swapped the neck with another Aria Pro, and it was like, oh, I totally dug that, but I kind of prefer the maple neck. So yellow Fender Strat it might be, also possibly that the same colour, so I've got a matching SG and Strat combo, might be quite nice. Yeah. So I've justified this one because it was a very good price, and I am a maple neck. I do prefer maple necks where possible. I kind of made that excuse there as well. That one, that was both kind of look the same. Maple neck like that. But my Strat has, my Strat 1 has a rosewood neck. Well, a very nice guitar, but ideally when I bought it was like, oh, this had been a maple, just been a wee bit better. But now got the maple. Actually, the neck feels very, very, very similar to this Ibanez Blazer. I think it might be the... No. Just going for the... Maybe slightly less... Feel the same. They're both Japanese. That's not a Fuji Gen though. That's apparently they're made by Dyna. This is a Fuji Gen one. I wonder how similar it is to... I need to look at my Squire Bullet because it's made in the same factory. In fact, the Squire Bullet's 83. This is 84 to 87, I think it said from the serial number. It might even, thinking about it, it might even have been a Fender Strat as in the only one you could buy at the time, because I know there was a time when in the USA they moved the factory or something, or they retooled it. So there was like a year where you didn't actually get Fender USA Strats. Fender Strats were made in Japan, the only one they made. And I'm pretty sure that it's in that 84 to 87 bracket somewhere, so it could be the case that if you wanted to buy a brand new Strat in 85 or whatever, this was the best one you could get, sort of thing. The neck actually says on the back of it, like printed on it, STD 57. So I'm wondering, is this like a 57 like carve profile sort of thing? They did make Strats in 57. I don't know what the difference between. I'm not a total Strat aficionado. I'm classing this as a proper full-on Fender though, because I've decided that the Japanese one is a proper full-on Fender. I think the Mexican one is as well, to be honest. But I think there's an argument to be had that the Japanese ones are actually better than the American ones of that era. And just now, I think there's a bit of a fight over who's. They're comparable anyway. They're fight worthy. It's not like a case of, oh, which is better, Gibson or Epiphone? Well, the Gibson was better, obviously, but I think this might have actually been a better buy than the cheapest SG I've ever seen. Because although it was the cheapest SG I've ever seen, it was missing a bridge pickup. I just so happened to had one, so you could kind of, what's a Seymour Duncan, not sure exactly which model it is, sort of vintagey PAF type pickup, cost second hand, what, 50 quid or something like that. So that kind of bangs it up another 50 quid, and then obviously I had to rewire it and stuff like that. Whereas this one, okay, I did clean the neck, and I did adjust it a little bit and intonate it, but really just a setup and put new strings on it thus far. And I've actually got a fully functioning and we're ready to rock guitar, and it was less than that. More than half the price, but not much more. And controversial time coming up. I think Strats are better than SGs. Not really Strats aren't, but a Japanese Fender Strat's better than a Gibson SG. Well, I think it's a better guitar. I could argue that I probably prefer the SG just for its, more Tony Iommi and Angus Young than Hendrix. And well, no, Hendrix is pretty good, but I mean, as a fan, obviously Hendrix is an amazing guitarist, but how many times have I listened to the Hendrix albums all the way through? About a tenth as much as the Sabbath albums. So, looking at it that way, I do like them. It's just got something, and it's like my reason for how do I justify these things. I managed to justify, apart from the price. It's like it's a keeper. It's not a do up and seller. It's getting kept. So like my SG, it's like I'll buy that. It's so cheap. It's like that now. It's got some things that my SG doesn't have. It's got more vintage pickups as opposed to the sort of hot ones. So the sound is different. It's also got 24 frets. That's enough. In fact, it's actually, looking at it, it's actually got the inlays. I don't care about inlays. That one doesn't. It was an ebony fingerboard. Yeah, so they're different enough for me to justify. That was cheap enough for me. I saw that. I don't mind. 2 SGs, right? And this one is, I've got the Fender Strat, and I was thinking, the original justified having that one. I've got the Ibanez Blazer, which is basically pretty much the same thing. It's got super hot pickups, and that's got vintagey pickups, right? And then this one, it's like, it's kind of got in the middle pickups. And I said maybe a bit of a hotter bridge pickup. It's kind of rather than the vintagey pickups, but it's got a maple neck. I like a maple neck on a Strat. I've still got to set it up fully, and I've got some unpainting to do and having a wee look at some scraping on the various bits to get it back to. I'd like to try and keep basically all the original parts as it is. The trem bar did come with it, but it's not quite. It's a bit of an angle for it. It does fit in. It's not set floating, so I will set that up properly. I think I'll just have to take it to bits and try and work out some way of getting it back to being chrome. I think actually, to be honest, one of the things that would vastly improve it is if the bridge was chrome again and if the knobs were white again. I don't think it would. I kind of like the scratch plate. I wonder if I should maybe just keep the scratch plate and put it on something else. It kind of depends whether I've actually got a white scratch plate. I know it's nice to have things original. I mean, this is how much of its provenance does it lose if this was the full-on original, if it still had the white body and it hadn't been upgraded. I think the pickup's probably an acceptable mod, but you know, the scratching, the fact it's a what do you call it? A Frankenstein, because it's a Mexican body and a Japanese neck. I mean, I pretty much, I'd say that without a doubt, really, the Japanese guitars are better than the Mexican ones. But when you put it right down to it, things like the body, how much different can that be, really? That's like, you know, when you get into the arguing about does a 2-piece body sound better than a 3-piece body? And it's like, it's wood. I don't think it makes that much difference, and I'd imagine it's going to be, I don't know, alder or something, or what are Strats made of? Because that one's basswood, which is the tonally neutral wood, so maybe tone wood makes a difference. This one it's got a wee bit of feel of my Blazer. It's kind of a little bit lumpy. It's actually been quite badly. It's got quite a lot of big dents and stuff on it. Oh, it's still got some of the poly coating. Right. I was going to say, of course, it used to be tobacco sunburst. You sort of wonder. I mean, I'm actually wondering. I don't want a Rory Gallagher, because then it'll end up looking like that. I'm thinking if I found some sort of chemical, white spirit probably, and it takes off the ink and this paint, it's going to look like a Rory Gallagher one, isn't it? Or that kind of idea. But I kind of like the idea of yellow, and I quite, depending on how it goes, I've still not 100% decided what to do with that, because I kind of get used to looking at it. It's kind of, it just looks like a beat up SG. It's just a shame it's a fake beat up SG. I think this is there's a bit of, this is fake, because you know, poly finish doesn't wear like that. It's been belt sanded. Whereas I suppose that one is a poly finish. That's is a nitro finish that would have worn sort of like that with hard juice. If it was 40 years old, it would be. You know, some of this bit. So this bit annoys me because that's not where your hand sits or an SG. That would be like if your arm sits there. So this bit here should be the bit that this wears on, and then I think it would look more natural. You start looking at it thinking, should I be putting a... No. Or do I make it an HSS or something? You know, I'm so used to putting crazy pickups in guitars that I'm selling, like the Buckycasters and all that stuff. That one's sold, by the way. I talked about that in the... I mean, that was my great plan was I'm going away camping. I was going to take a cheap guitar. So I had my pal... Jen got a guitar at a car boot sale. She got two, and one of them was a bass with a crackle bass, and the wiring was short. So basically, I took it and swapped over a pot. Actually, I took the CTS pots out it because they didn't fit in the guitar. The knobs were sitting at an angle because the cavity wasn't big enough to take the CTS pots. So I took the CTS pots out, put in normal pots, and then wired it so it worked. And she gave me a guitar for fixing that. So I was looking at that guitar as being free. Absolutely, it was a blue Strat, absolutely covered in stickers, like head to toe. She peeled off sort of the front, but the back was just like some kid had obviously got like A4 sheets of wee smiley face stickers and things like that. It just absolutely plastered it. So I was like, right, I'll just take that. That'll be great. And then I was like, well, obviously I'm gonna have to clean it up to make it play. And it was like, so, yeah, tidied up, took the dirt off it. I was like, right, and I was like, I'll take the stickers off. So I took all the stickers off, and I had the stickers off, and it was actually looking pretty good. And it was like, I've got the paint, so I buckied it. There, that's it there, basically. And it turned out really well. And then suddenly it's like, right, so what was basically a free guitar, which I could have, I suppose, just put strings on and used, but a bit dirty, it turned into a Buckycaster, and it's like, that's no longer a really cheap guitar. It's worth like 100 quid, so, or more than 100 quid, so I just sold it, and now I don't have a guitar to go. I'm not taking this. That's just silly. You know, when they get stolen or lost or rained on or something, it's like. So I was like, I've got a bit of a quandary how I'm going. What electric guitar to take? I looked at my original the guitar I took to Glastonbury, which I might do a wee video on just because it's silly. Yeah, I'll take that. It's an acoustic as well, so it doesn't need an amp. Because I've got my wee mini bass, which is this thing, which I've just found out. I was playing it up at Scott's the other week, and I was like, "What? It's awful good, isn't it?" It kind of reminds me of your wee red one. He's got a wee red Strat, a Sun Mustang, which is one of those ones that's uncommonly good. And you're like, why is this so good? It's just a cheap. It's just one of those things. And I found out that looking that up on eBay, there was another one, some selling the exact same model but black, and it still had the Made in India sticker on the back of it. So I know that Sun Mustang were made in India for a couple of years, and they're really good guitars. And they've got a really thin neck here though, so the bridge spacing's a bit wonky, and it's hard to change the hardware on them. But the actual bodies are really, the body and neck are fantastic. And then Sun Mustang fell out with the engine and started making Squires. I think when they moved to Korea with the Sun Mustangs, and they made that one that the later on one, which isn't anything like as good, the plywood, sort of thin bodied with a short Ibanez headstock, a much cheaper guitar. I think they were too expensive was the problem. Like, oh, can you make them cheaper? And India's like, that. What, do you not like our guitars? It's like, no, they're great, but they're too good. It's like going to make them much cheaper. And they're like, well, we've already got all the bits. And then Encore bought them because I've had a couple of Encores that were exactly the same as the Indian Sun Mustangs, and then that's the Encore bass, so that's why it's so good. So if you ever see one of these cheap, I was looking up, there's a folks selling for 120 quid and all that. I paid, this is my tenor bass, as in not Tenor, Tenner, because it cost a tenner, and I was annoyed that I snapped a string on it, so I had to put a $5 worth of strings on it, so it was actually a £15 bass, and I changed the bridge as well. But these are awesome. I'm actually thinking I might take this in to the studio tonight with the Black Sabbath band, and yeah, I'm going to do that. Yes, I'm going to do that. When I started off in that band, one of the reasons was I was going to take in different bass every week and try and shock them. So I was taking in, I took in the Hondo that's painted like a tiger and stuff like that. If you're trying to get a reaction, the guys are just like, yeah, whatever. And the one with 3 pickups, like, yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, that's an interesting bass. It's like, oh man, so I went taking in like an Encore, which everyone knows Encore, that's those catalogue guitars, which to be fair, they were. Doesn't mean they weren't good though. Yeah, I might take that in and play along with Craig with his, SG standards and his Flynn super amp and all that, and I'll play through a £10 bass. Here we go. And then it might not sound that good, to be honest, but through a big amp at 10 of 10s. You do sometimes notice that a little bit with guitars, like if you take in like the really cheap Strats and stuff into the studio and play them through a Marshall stack, kinda not what they were meant for. They're not really. They're not. They start to show up that they're quite buzzy and all these things, as opposed to a Pro one. Whereas if you're playing through like a wee Wasp with a jam jar or my amp, this thing. I'm not even sure that playing through this you would actually be able to. I'd show you, give you this, stand in next door with a lead plugged into it, and I'd play either a Strat or an SG, and I'm 90% sure you wouldn't be able to tell which one it was I was playing. But if I did played one and then the other, it would probably be difficult to tell which one was the Strat. If you heard them both. Up here, here's guitar 1, guitar 2, which is which. Strat and SG, I'm not sure you would be able to tell the difference. Yeah, for 35 minutes. So I'll see you on, if anyone's about, I'm still advertising that. I'm going to Blitzkrieg shop on Saturday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 2 days time, and at 4 o'clock for a chat. I think, I could maybe, talking about having a guitar to go camping with, I might have a look in the barras and buy one in there. Could I preempt what I'm going to take? I could take a toolbox that had. I'm going to assume it's going to be a Strat because it's nearly always a Strat. Those are the guitars you can pick up cheap. Strat copy. Those are yourself. It's like there's 10 Strats to all the other guitars put together, sort of thing. Never find tellies you do find Les Pauls a little bit, and then you find sort of super strats a little bit, but very rarely SGs, very rarely tellies. You know, I'm talking about, like, you know, car boot sales and stuff like that. So I might take in, like, I'll take in a spare set of tuners, a couple of pots, an output jack, maybe another bridge so I can steal the saddles off it, and I'll try and buy it and see if I can make a guitar that's actually pretty good from just picking it up in the barras and then doing it live, and see if it's any good, and if it's good I'll keep it or sell it or give it away or something. So Saturday 4 o'clock Blitzkrieg, see you there, rock on.